2007, and I'm speaking with Gerald Myers, the author of Lethal Legacy. Could you tell us a little bit more about the book?
Well, yes, Jason. I consider the book a historical thriller. Most of it takes place in the late 80s in both Pittsburgh, PA, and Baltimore, Maryland, but it really has its roots in Nazi Germany, and that is where the inception of the story is. And it's really introduced by a extended section where I narrate the journal from a Nazi officer during World War II. And it's a mystery that culminates closer to the present.
Okay. So when you're sitting down to write a book like this, I mean, where do you draw from for the inspiration for this?
But this was an interesting evolution. This plot and these characters came out of a course I took back in the early 90s, where I was introduced to a gentleman who was coaching people on how to get published. And when I gave him a sample of my writing, he felt that he could work with me in a way that we could take a book from conception to publication. So we really thrashed out the plot together, went through the character studies, and then gradually put it together.
Now, what do you find is one of the challenges of writing?
Well,
the whole book?
For me, it's the time. It's the time demands. Writing for me is an avocation rather than a vocation. I'm a clinical cardiologist, and obviously most of my time is dedicated to that. But I have a passion for writing, and I try to carve out sections of time to do that kind of activity.
So what would you describe as some of the obstacles to, taking from that plot all the way to, the developed novel?
Well, for me, it was learning the craft. I had no formal training in writing, although I was a sports writer in high school and college. But it was an evolution. It was learning the different aspects of the writing profession, and then the satisfaction of seeing that evolve during the rewrites and the revisions, and from the coaching that I got from the people that were working with me.
Now you've actually published several books before?
Yeah, Lethal Legacy is my third. I've published two other books through SterlingHouse. One is called Muted Colors, which is a medical thriller, and then a second is called Song of the Siren, which I consider a psychological thriller.
So this is a little bit of a different step now?
This is a diversion, yeah, and it definitely was more of a challenge because it required a lot more research, and it's a much more intricate plot from my point of view.
So now, for a reader picking up Lethal Legacy, what are you hoping they take away?
Well, I think it's first and foremost entertaining. I also think that there's a educational aspect to it, based on the descriptions by this German as he goes through the Hitler Youth, through his time in the academy, and then ultimately working in a concentration camp in Poland, which was a work camp, and all of the experiences he has are based on authentic descriptions of those times.
Okay, so real accounts.
Real accounts. Well, yeah. So,
say in an estimate, I mean, how much time did you spend just on research for this project?
Yeah, well, it was an accumulation. I mean, some of the reading was done prior to any idea that I would ever use it in a book. It's like reading The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, but more consistent or more in line with the book. I read the history of the SS. I read detailed accounts of the concentration camps, of life in Germany, and then more recently, or to deal with the recent aspects of the book, I had to research the CIA and the history of that organization, and how that came into being, and then its activities during the early 50s. So yeah, there was a lot of research that went into it.
So did it, and now as you were doing this research, does that help the story develop and take it in a new direction at all?
It gave me a comfort level in describing the things that the characters were going through, and it gave it a historical reference point to, you know, to give it validity.
So do you have any new projects in the works?
I'm actually almost through with a final revision of a coming-of-age book that was started in the early 90s and has gone through several rewrites, but it's in a form now that I'm comfortable can be submitted for publication.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So you still find time to write every day?
I do. I find time to write. I'm mostly revising, but I'm ready to start something new.
So, you know, now with all the writing, what type of challenges do you see ahead? I mean, what, as far as, you know, what would you want to share with an author that they're trying to get their book published?
Well, I think if it's your passion, then it's something that you should pursue. I think there's support in the industry. I think that, like someone said to me when I finished my first manuscript, if this is something that you needed to do, then you've done it and move on. But if it's something that you want to construe as an avocation, as a work in progress, then there's value to it and there's satisfaction in it.
So for a reader interested in The Lethal Legacy, where could they find that?
Well, the book is available by order from the local bookstores such as Barnes & Noble and Borders. More directly and probably more quickly, they could get it through SterlingHousePublishers.com, or if they call 888-542-BOOK.